Today we are going to start to solve some questions. It will be very interesting because you all know that question solving is very important for the exams. So we are going to share some questions, okay? Yeah. Who among the following see the question? Yeah. Oh, sorry. It's difficult to manage this all. Who among the following was the Brahmavadini who composed some hymen of the Vedas? Brahmavadini who composed is Lopamudra, it's Gargi, Leelavati, or Savitri. So it's Lopamudra. Some prominent Brahmavahini were Lopamudra, Tara, Sikta, Gosha, and Nivari and Maitreyi, and Dopamudra. So Lopamutra, sorry. A hymen in Rigveda is attributed to her. Daughter of women are classified Brahmavadini and Sodhyoyadu. In ancient Vedic times, Brahmavadini was a woman who studied the Vedas after the Vajroparitam Sanskrita and got married later or stayed as a spinster in further pursuit of Vedic knowledge. Next question. Next question is to match the following. Okay, so here see, it's Vikram era, it's 558, Shaka era 78, Gupta era 320, and Kali era 3102. So 78 regarded as Shaka Samvat, 320 as Gupta, 248 is Kalchuri era or Kali era, and 78 and 58 is a Vikram era. Okay. Now next, in Sanskrit play written during the Gupta period, women and Shudra speaks. They speak Prakrit language. Okay, it is Gupta periods. In Gupta period, they were speaking the Prakrit, but if there is a Maurya period, then they will speak Pali language. Okay. Next language. Next question. Women and Shudra speak Prakrit language. Pali is language of earliest Buddhist literature. Shorseni is language of used most of the medieval period. Okay, Shorseni. Next is a name by which Ashoka is generally referred to. It's a Priyadarshi. Okay, in the inscription of found the Maski village, Raichur district, Karnataka, Ashoka name was found titled the Devanam Priyadarshi. It was then certain the Devanam Priyadarshi was none other than Ashoka. It means beloved to the god. Who among the following anticipated Newton by declaring that all things gravitate to earth? It is Brahmagupta. Who among the following anticipated Newton by declared that all things gravitate to earth? It's a gravitational force is given by the Brahma Gupta. So Brahma Sutra Siddhanta and Khand Khandi was postulated to that things and earth to the earth. According to Mimamsa system of philosophy, liberation is possible by mean of only and only karma. See, it's Mimamsa. Mimamsa is saying karma is very important and jnana, bhakti, yoga is not. So Mimamsa is one of the 6 orthodox school of Hinduism. It stresses the karma for liberation, and with the pursuit of Vedic knowledge is also important to perform karma holistically. This school philosophy was founded by Jaimini. Next is the term Yavana Priya mentioned in the Sanskrit text denoted Yavana Priya as the paper. The word Yavana Priya was also is the Indo-Greek paper which was grown in the India. So Yavana Priya is the paper. Okay, black paper is Southeast India in demand in ancient Roman and Empire in the Yavana Priya. Okay, now next page we are going to go for next page. Next page we came. So see, the concept of Ayurveda was advocated by concept of Ayurveda was associated by its Jainism. Sorry, concept of Anuvrata. It's Anuvrata. Concept of Anuvrata is advocated by its Jainism. So the principle of Jainism is followed by the called Maharatna. If they are observed by the lay following, then it is called the Anuvrata. It consists Ahimsa, Satya, Aparigraha, Satya and Brahmacharya. Zero was inverted by, it's a unknown Indian. Okay, Zero was like unknown, no name. There was no concrete evidence of who invented zero. The zero can be traced to the Indian mathematical Aryabhatta, who about 520 AD derived the position decimal number system. Later, Brahmagupta developed the concept of zero, and it is actual independence number. Brahmagupta, okay? Brahmagupta. Now, next we are going to discuss about. Sorry. Okay, next is according to ancient Indian cosmological idea, the sequential order of cycle of 4 ANs Yuga is. Its order is Krita Yuga, then Treta Yuga, then Dwapar, then Kali. So it's Krita Yuga, first of all Krita Yuga, then Treta Yuga, then Dwapar Yuga, then Kali. Kali is last, Krita is first, Treta and Dwapar in between. The concept of Krita, Treta, Dwapar, Kali, the Satya Yuga, also called Satya Yuga, Krita Yuga and Kenta Yuga. Okay, and in the Satyuga is known the Kenta Yuga. In Hinduism is the first of 4 yuga, the yuga age of the era, the truth. It is 4 times Kali Yuga. Treta is 3 times of Kali Yuga and Dwapar is twice Kali Yuga. The river most mentioned in early Vedic literature is, it's a Sindhu river. Okay, the river most mentioned in early Vedic literature is Sindhu literature. So Sindhu is the most widely mentioned river in early Vedic literature. Saraswati is considered to be the most important and sacred. Ganga is also mentioned in the Rig Veda text, but just once Suttodhan is the referred the river of Sultan. Which of the following is not a part of early Jaina literature? So there is Therigatha, Sutrakrita and Kalpustra and Akaranga Sutra. So not part of the early Jaina literature is Therigatha. So Therigatha is the part of Buddhism literature and was compiled by Buddhist nun. It contained the poem and Lord Buddha. Okay, next is which of the following were common to both Buddhism and Jainism? So, avoidance of extremism, penance, enjoyment, indifference to the authority of Vedas, denial of efficacy of ritual, and non-injury to animals. So, all four are the part of both of Buddhism and Jainism. Next, who among the following is known for his medicinal duty? It says Sushutra Samhita. It's not Sumila, Shokantla or Sudraka. It's Sushupta Samhita. Was written Sushupta and have been the well-known surgeon during the Gupta and is the name applied teacher and to the Atharu Sudraka, who famous for writing. Match the following next. Vishak Datta is the drama and Varahamitra is written by the astronomy and Charaka is the medicine and Brahmagupta is the mathematics. So Charaka is in medicine, Brahmagupta in mathematics and Varahamitra is in astronomy and Vikrama Datta is the dharma. So Charaka wrote Charaka Samhita, a both on medicine, was contemporary of Long, Kanishka of Kushana, and Brahmagupta was mathematician, and Varaha famous astronomer. Next is following the list. Okay, Gupta's Devgarh temple, Chandela is the Khajuraho temple, Chalukya is the Badami temple, and Pallava is the Panamalai temple. So now next questions we are going to discuss about. It's about which of the following statement regarding Ashoka stone pillar is incorrect. These are highly polished, yes. These are monolithic, yes. The shaft of pillar is tapering in shape, yes. These are part of architectural structure, no. Okay, so not actually architectural structure, they are intended to spread Ashoka's message to the people. They were erected with Ashoka edict, and they were erected in every direction, mainly in 4 scripts. So Brahmi, Kharoshthi, Aramaic, Greek. These edicts were deciphered by James Prinsep in 1937. Which of the following script of ancient India was written from right to left? It is Kharoshthi. Okay, right to left. Which of the following script ancient India was written from right to left? That was Kharoshthi, and left to right, that was Brahmi Lipi. Okay, so it is the Pakistan is written from the right to left, which was evolved the Vamamala system Indian language. It was deciphered by the James Prinsep, which is turned led to reading of Ashoka edict. The Brahmi script is written left to right. The famous dialogue between the Nachiketa and Yama is mentioned in the its Kathopanishada. That is Nachiketa and Yama given the mentioned dialogue. So dialogue between the Nachiketa and Yama about death and transmigration of soul is mentioned in Kathopanishada and is known for the Satyamev Jayate. Milindapanno is the form of dialogue between the king Meander and the Buddhist monk is Nagasena. So Milindapanno is the dialogue between the king Meander and Buddhist monk, that is Nagasena. Milindapanno was not written by one person. It is a collection of work in dialogue form between the Indo-Greek Milinda and Buddhist saga, and Nagasena is widely considered as one of the most important Mahayana philosophy. Which one of the following edict mention the person name of Ashoka? So Ashoka was as in the Maski. Okay, which of the following edict mentioned the person of Ashoka? So Ashoka was mentioned in the edict of Maski. Okay, now most other edict have mentioned Devanam Priyadarshi, but Ashoka name was in the Maski. The following map shows 4 of X16 Mahajanapada existed in ancient time is Matsya, Avanti, Vatsa and Anga. So Matsya Janpada, then Avanti Janpada, then Vatsa Janpada, and then Anga Janpada. Okay, these are given the Matsya, Avanti, Vatsa, Anga according to the Mahajanpada mentioned. Angutar Nikaya of Matsya Mahajanpad comprise the present of Jaipur and Bharatpur Alwar area of Rajasthan, and Avanti is mostly in the Ujjain in the Madhya Pradesh. Anga is Maharashtra was Gangetic Valley of Bihar, and Vatsa situated in the Gangetic Plain now known as Kosam, a small tower in the Uttar Pradesh. In the Mahayana Buddhist, the Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara was also known as its Padmapani. So Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara was known as Padmapani. The name Avalokiteshvara means Lord who knows down with compassion. He embodied the compassion of all Bodhisattva. In Sanskrit, Avalokiteshvara is also referred to the Padmapani. So Lokiteshvara is love of word. The silver coin issued by the Gupta were called its Rupaka. Okay, and the Bodhishvara Alokishvara was the Padmapani, and the silver coin in the Gupta period were called the Rupaka. So Rupaka was the silver coin of Gupta period. Most of these coins were found in northern part of country, and Rupaka was the equal to 1 gold coin. And Karshapana were ancient Indian coin. So they were used during the Shunga dynasty. Karshapana is the basic coin, and other denomination of Panna and Ardhapanna and Pada and Astapada. Which one of the following corporation of merchant in ancient India? It's Manigrama. Corporation of merchant is Manigrama. So Manigrama was the corporation of, like, there is Ashtadikhaja, Parishada and Chaturvedi Mangalam, but this is Manigrama, which was the corporation of merchant ancient South India, Southern India trade guides by firm order to organize and expand the trading activity. Next one question is, the Gandhara school of art bear the mark of Hellenistic influence. Hinayana from influence by that art. So Gandhara school of art bear the mark of Hellenistic influence, and Hinayana from influence by that art. Yes. Gandhara school. Gandhara school of art highly influenced by Greek, but it was Mahayana from Buddhist that influenced, not Hinayana. The Mahayana was influenced, so C will be the answer, and flourished during the period of Shaka Kusana, and especially under the Kanishka. Next is, according to Ashoka edict, social harmony among the people was more important than religious devotion. He spread idea of equality instead of promotion of religion. According to Ashoka edict, social harmony among the people was more important than religious devotion. He spread idea of equity instead of promotion of religion. Yes, exactly. A is there. So harmony among the people, spreading idea of equity instead of promotion of religion. His edict encouraged the people to behave well with elders, monk, Brahman. By his wanted to develop harmonious society. Next is Lothal is ancient dockyard. Sarnath is first sermon in Buddha. Rajgir is loin capital of Ashoka, and Nalanda is the great seat of Buddhist learning. Okay, all are correct. Next one is, which one of the following ancient Indian recorded earliest royal order to preserve gold grains be utilized during crisis in country? So it is Sahagora copper plate, where the food grains or like preserve the food grains of be utilized during the crisis in the country. Sahagora copper plate was the Sahagora is Mauryana records that mention famine efforts. It's one of the very rare Ashoka Brahmi inscription in India. Lothal is the Gujarat significant place Harappa civilization due to proximity of sea intertrade relationship. Sarnath is the Buddhist sermon site where the Buddhist first delivered the doctrine. Rajgira was the first delivered capital of Magadha and Loin capital of Ashoka, which is the crowded by the wheel of Dharma Chakra. Nalanda was the renowned university and early medieval time. It was destroyed Bhakti Khilji. The concept of eightfold path is given by its Dharma Chakra Pravartan Sutta. So the concept of eightfold path, theme of Dharma Chakra Pravartan Sutta, which means sermon of, like there is Diva Mamsa, Divanadana, Mahaparinirvana Sutta. No, it's a Dharma Chakra Pravartan Sutta where the eightfold path was given. So it is right livelihood, right mindfulness, right speech, right understanding, right thoughts, right action, right efforts, right concentration, and Divya Vandana of divine narration of Sanskrit ontology of Buddhist tale. The given maps relate to, it's a Kanishka at the time of his death, Samundragupta after the close of his South India campaign, Ashoka towards close his reign, and empire of Thanishvara of eve of Harsha. So, which is Ashoka towards close of his reign. So it is the given map is related to Ashoka. Okay, and close to reign. So given map is related to the Ashoka Empire towards his reign. The map shown the climax of Mauryan, which extended from the northern India up to southern India, and which is distinct integral of weak succession. Now next one is what? Next one is the many of the Grika, Kushana and Shaka embraced the Buddhism rather than Hinduism because of caste-ridden Hinduism did not attract them. Actually, Buddhism was in a ascendant at the time. No, they have renounced the policy of war and violence. No, not exactly that. Buddhism provided easier access to Indian society. Actually, that time the problem was caste-ridden Hinduism. Caste-based Hinduism was very problematic. That's why the Greek, Kushana and Shaka was embraced Buddhism rather than Hinduism. And the Buddhism was easier access to society because they was not caste-based. That can be answer D, but C will be the more appropriate. Caste-ridden Hinduism not attract. They were attracted toward Buddhism as it was more flexible in Hinduism. Trace was restriction with foreigns, and it was difficult for them to establish trade relation with the Indian society. The Ashoka major rock edict which tell us about the Sangama kingdom include rock edict of It's second and 13. The rock edict of second mention about the Chola, Pandya, Satpuja and Keral Putra kingdom of South India. Rock edicts mention about the Chola and Pandya of the South India. What is correct chronological order in which the following appear in India? So that is correct chronological order is D. It's urban culture, then iron plug, then punch mark silver coin, then gold coin. So urban culture, iron plug, punch mark silver coin and gold coin. The term Aryan denotes to it's a speech group. Aryan denotes to Aryan a speech group called their language which spread the Central Asia to the place. The Aryan race was racial grouping commonly used in the period of the 19th century to mid 20th century to describe people of European and Western Asian heritage, and Aryan developed as an racial ideology that claimed that Aryan race was a supreme race. Which of the following ports handled the North Indian trade during the Gupta periods? It's a Tamralipi, Baroch, Kalyanam or Cambay. So it's a Tamralipi. So Tamralipi was the handled the North Indian trade with the ancient country during the Gupta period. It is the corresponding with the Tamaluka. Next, the following person came to India at that one time or another. Fayan, Itzing, Megasneech and Hyusrang. So first of all, Megasneech is last one, and starting with the Fayan, then Hyusrang, then Itzing 1, 4, 2, 3. So answer will be 3. First of all, 3. One time and another. So the correct chronological sequence of the visit is 3. Megasthenes, then Fayan, then Hyunsang, then Itzing. Okay, Megasthenes was first. Megasthenes in the Mauryan period, then okay, that was Ibn Battuta. I was confused with that. Okay, so this confusion will be in mind. So Megasthenes, Mauryan Empire in the period of 4th century, then Fayan Gupta period 5th century, then Itzing was in 8th century, then Hyunsang in the 7th century. Okay, which one of the following initially the most powerful city state of India in the 6th century BC? So it was the Khasi city, 6th century BC, Gandhar, Kamboj, Kashi and Magadha, sorry. So it is the initially the most powerful city was Kashi, okay. And there was the Megasneech was 4th century, Fayan was Gupta in 5th century, and Harsha was in the 8th century, and Hyunsang in Gupta period 7th century. So Gupta period was 5th to 7th century, and Maurya period was 3rd to 4th century. Indo-Greek kingdoms at the north of Afghanistan in the beginning of the 2nd century BC was its Bactria. Indo-Greek kingdom set up the north Afghanistan beginning of the 2nd century was Bactria. Hence, Indo-Greek were also called Bactria. It was located between Hindu Kush and mountain range and Amu Darya river and central Eurasia. Greek were the first to enter into the west. From 3rd century AD, when the Hun invasion ended the Roman Empire, the Indian merchant relied more and more on they relied on Southeast Asian trade. So the Roman Empire was invasion of Huna ended the Roman Empire. It forced the Indian merchant to took developed market in the eastern area. So Southeast Asian trade provided them opportunity. Next one is Ashoka annexed Kalinga to the Mauryan Empire. Kalinga controlled the land and the sea routes to South India. The main cause of Kalinga conquest of Ashoka was the strategic location of Kalinga, as it is controlled both the land and sea routes and South India, which could facilitate the Mauryan trade. Next one is the Aham and Puram poem of the Padian Kiku Kanku group form a continuation of Sangam composition. They were included post Sangam works against the Sangam work. Yeah, A is there. They both are correlated to each other. Next, the emphasis of Jainism on the non-violence. Ahimsa prevented agriculturalists from the embracing Jainism, and cultivation involved killing of insect and pest. Yeah, because of they was killing the insect and pest, that's why it's prevented agriculturists from the embracing Jainism. Okay, so these both are correlated. The origin of feudal system in ancient India can be traced to military campaign. There was considerable expansion of feudal system during the Gupta period. Yeah, Gupta period was very expansionist in the feudal system, and feudal system in ancient India can be traced to military campaign also. Okay, next one. Which one of the following dynasty and ruling were over North India at the time of Alexander invasion? It was Nanda, Maurya, Sunga or Kanva. So they were the Nanda dynasty. So North India, Alexander time was the Nanda dynasty ruler. The Nanda was the king of who controlled nearly North India time at the Alexander invasion. Mauryan dynasty overthrew Nanda dynasty and Sunga dynasty was established by the Pushyamitra Sunga and fall Mauryan dynasty. Sunga dynasty was reduced by Kanva dynasty and last Sunga ruler Devabhuti was devoted Vasumitra. The practice of military governorship was first introduced in India by the it was Greeks. The practice of military governorship was first introduced in the Greek. It was Alexander who, while returning from India, paralleled out the captured territory among the military general. Next one is Harshvardhana conveyed the Prayag assembly and he wanted to popularize only the Mahayana from the Buddhists. Only the Mahayana is not the answer. So both A and R are individual true, but R is not the okay. Uh, he like Harshvardhana wanted to popularize only the Mahayana. So Harshvardhana conveyed the Prayag assembly as himself among the people. He wanted to popularize Mahayana from the Buddhist influence of Hyunsang and conference of Kannauj. So this kind of question we even can't think about the answers because there is given only the Mahayana. So I will take this will be wrong, but here the answer is given B. Both are rights. So some question you will find this type also. Okay, which one of the Chola king conquered the Ceylon? So Ceylon was Rajendra. So Chola king of Rajendra conquered the Ceylon. So the Rajendra attacked and conquered the northern part of the Ceylon, but the victory was compared Rajendra first. After which Ken Ceylon could not get rid of Chola dominance. Okay, and next was the who among the following presided over the Buddhist council held during the reign of Kanishka at Kashmir? So, who among the following presided over the Buddhist council held during the reign of Kanishka at Kashmir? It is Vasumitra. Okay, so Vasumitra was held during the reign of Kanishka. So, the fourth Buddhist council, which was organized in Kundalavana, Kashmir during this reign, Kanishka was presided by Vasumitra. First Buddhist council 400 BCE under the patronage of King Ajatashatru with monk Mahakashyapa at Rajgraha. And second Buddhist council held in 4th century BC, the patronage of King Kala Ashoka with the monk of Vaishali and Sabakami. And third Buddhist, first was Ajatasattu and Kasyapa and Rajgraha. Second was Kala Ashoka. In first there was a Ashoka. In second there was a Kala Ashoka and patronage of Sabakami and in Vaishali. First was in Rajgraha, second was in Vaishali. First Mahapakasyapa, second Sabakami, and third was under the patronage of first was 400 BC, second was 400 BC. Third was 251 BC under the patronage of King Ashoka with the monk Mogliputta Sissa. Mogliputta sa Patliputra. So third was first was no Ajatasattu and third was Ashoka with monk Mogliputta Sissa. So fourth was Buddhist council Kanishka and Kundalavana in Kashmir. Okay, so first was Ajatasattu. The ancient Indian play Mudra Rakshasa of Vishakadatta has its subject on. So the subject was court intrigue at the time of Chandragupta. So Mudra Rakshaka of the Vishakadatta based on the subject of court intrigue between the Amatsya Rakshasa of Nanda Empire and explained the Chandragupta Maurya ascended to the post king. Emperor Harsha southward march was stopped on the Narmada river by it was the Pulkeshian second. Okay, so Emperor Harsha southward march was stopped on the Narmada river by Pulkeshian and Chalukya ruler who defends the Harsha. This incident is mentioned in Ahol inscription of Ravi. Vardhaman Mahavira mother was the daughter of Lichvi Chaitya. Gautam Buddha is the mother was a prince from the Koshal dynasty and Parshvantha the 23rd Tirthankara belonged to the Banaras. So it was the option A was wrong. It is given Vardhaman Mahavir mother was the daughter of Lichvi and Chief Chetaka. The Vardhaman Mahavir mother was the daughter of Lichvi and Chief Chetak. Now it's sister of the Lichvi Chetak. Gautami Buddha as the mother was princess from the Koshala dynasty, and Parshvantha the 23rd Tirthankara belonged to Banaras. Next one is the last Mauryan ruler Brihadrat was assassinated by his commander-in-chief Pushyamitra Sunga. The last Sunga king Devabhuti was assassinated by the Brahmana Vedasutra Kanva. The last ruler of Kanva dynasty was deposed by Andhra. So all of three are correct. Next, the Chinese pilgrimage Faiyan amended the fourth great Buddhist council held by Kanishka, and the Chinese pilgrimage Yusang met Harsha and found him to antagonist to the Buddhists. The Chinese pilgrimage Faiyan attended the fourth great Buddhist council held by Kanishka. The Chinese pilgrimage Yusang met Harsha and found him to be the antagonist to Buddhism. So this was the Chinese pilgrimage Faiyan came to be the neither one neither two. Chinese pilgrim Faiyan attended fourth great Buddhist council, no, and Chinese pilgrim Hyunsang met Harsha and found him antagonist to Buddhism, that is also no. So Chinese Faiyan came during the Chandragupta second reign and not during the Kanishka reign, though Harsha was the Hindu king but he was not antagonist to the Buddhism. So with the reference of the ancient Jainism, which of the following was statement correct? Jainism was a split in South India under leadership of no, it's Bhadrabahu, so wrong. The Jaina who remained under the leadership of Bhadrabahu was called the Digambara, not Shvetambara. Jainism enjoyed the patronage of Kalinga king Kharvel, 1st century. Yes. And in the initial age of Jainism, the Jain worship image unlike Buddhism. No, actually they was not going for the image worship Jainism in starting. Next one, who among the following presided over the Buddhist council had during the reign of Kanishka at Kashmir? So it was Vasumitra. Okay, it was, we completed this one. Okay. Who among the following was not contemporary to the other three? Bimbisara, Gautami Buddha, Milinda and Prasenjit. So Bimbisara, Gautam Buddha, both was the same period, Maurya period, and Prasenjit also. But Milinda was in the ancient time. So Milinda existed as post-Mauryan time. Sorry. So given option exit Milinda all related with the pre-Mauryan time, but Milinda existed in post-Mauryan time. Bimbisara belonged to the Haryak dynasty. Magadha Empire came into prominence under him. He was contemporary of the Buddha. He strengthened his position by marriage alliance and his first wife sister Prasenjit, who was also contemporary of the Buddha. Who among the following laid the foundation of Rashtrakuta Empire? So it was the Dhanti Durga. It's not Amogharsh first, not Dhruva first, and not Krishna. So the who among the following foundation of Rashtrakuta Empire, that is Dhanti Durga. Dhanti Durga led the foundation of Rashtrakuta Empire. His original name was Danti Varman and the clan was ruled by Alichur, was the feudatory of the Badami. And Danti Durga it's overthrow the Chalukya Kirti Varman and went on to build on empire Gulbarga region of modern Karnataka. Between which of the following was the ancient town of Takshashila located? It was located Indus and Jhelum river. So ancient town of Takshashila located between the Indus and Jhelum. Ancient Takshashila literally means a city of cut stone of rank of Takshala and was situated at the pivotal function of India. Okay, so ancient town of Takshashila located between the Indus and Jhelum. So it's Takshashila which is situated between the Indus and Jhelum river. With reference to the invader in the ancient India, which one of the following is the correct chronological order? It is the Greek Saka and Kushana. With reference to the invader, it's first Greek, then Saka, then Kushana was came. Okay, consider the following statement. The Ikshvaku ruler of southern India were antagonists toward the Buddhism. The Pala ruler of eastern India were patron of Buddhism. So the Ikshvaku ruler of southern India were antagonists toward the Buddhism. The Ikshvaku ruler of southern India were antagonists towards the Buddhism. No, antagonists no. And the Pala ruler of eastern India are patron to the Buddhism. Yeah. Next, which of the among following provided as a factor tribal Ikshvaku rulers southern India were the supported of Buddhism? Okay. And next is tribal insurrection in the India. So introduction of new system of land revenue. Yes. Okay. Its common factor of 9th century? No, it was very older. Influence of foreign religion missionary? That was also older. Rise of large number of money lender? That was older. The complete disruption of old agrarian order of the tribal community. Yeah, that is D is the answer because it's the new factor provided the common factor of tribal insurrection. So the common factor of the tribal insurrection of the rebellion and extension settled agriculture into the tribal area. This resulted in influx of non-tribal and extension of settled agriculture led to the loss of land tribal which reduced them to agricultural. So the description of old agrarian older tribal communities provided the common factor. Okay. So now next question is Lord Buddha's image is sometimes shown with the hand gesture called Bhumi Sparsha Mudra. So it is the Buddha's calling the earth to witness its purity and chastity despite the temptation of Mara. So among the Buddhist symbol, Gautam Buddha used the Bhumi Sparsha gesture to summon the earth goddess, and this mudra represent his attainment of Buddhahood. The gesture signifies the state of enlightenment after meditation under the Bodhi tree for week and withstanding all the temptation put before his Mara, god of evil. The religion early Vedic Aryana was primarily of. This is worship of nature and bhakti. The religion of early Vedic Aryan was primarily of. It is the worship of worship of nature and yajna, not bhakti. The early Vedic Aryan was the primarily of worship of nature and yajna. So early Vedic Aryana worship different form of nature such as Indra and fire god and perform yajna to impress them. So they are worship of Indra, the god of rain, and god of truth, wind, Usha, goddess of dawn, Prithvi, goddess of gain and procreation. With reference to the guild of ancient India that played a very important role in the country economy. So every guild was registered with the central authority of the state, and no, every is not, and chief administrative authority on them, every is not. The wages rule were standard and prices fixed by guild. Yes, guild had judicial power. Yes. Okay, so it was the Kautilya mentioned the Arthashastra regarding the method derived for the regulation of guild. It include the registration of guild, laying down the checks and balance, and artisana, wage ruler, worker, and appointment special tribunal. So king was not the chief administrator of authority, but guild master was selected. There was some evidence that were registered with the local official. So now next one is with reference to the scientist progress of ancient India, which of the statement given below are correct? So it is different kind of specialist surgical instrument where the common use of first AD, and the concept of sine of an angle was known 5th century. The concept of cyclic quadrilateral was known as the 7th century. Transplant of internal organ human body began to 3rd century. No, it's afterwards of that. So transplant Sushruta, he was the known for the father of surgery. So he given the transplant of the organs, that is 6th century. And the 1st century this instrument were in the common use. The second statement is wrote because his book Sushruta Samhita refer to the plastic surgery. With reference to the history of ancient India, which of the following were common to both Buddhism and Jainism? So it was the avoidance of extremism or penance and enjoyment, and avoidance of extremities of penance and enjoyment, and indifference to authority of Vedas, denial of efficacy of ritual. So both were the authority of the Vedas, and they repudiated the efficiency of ceremony ritual, condemn animal sacrifices, while Jainism believe in extreme penance. Buddhism stays on middle path. So Jainism was follower of the extremism, but extreme penance, and the Buddhism was middle path. So A will be wrong. So before that we discussed this question. There was also some problems in one. Okay. Next, which of the following statements is applicable to Jaina doctrine? The surest way of annihilation karma is the practice of penance. Yeah. Every object, even smallest particle, has soul. Jainism. Yeah. Karma is the ban of soul and must be ended. Yeah. Karma should be ended. Yeah. So the surest way of annihilation of karma is to practice the penance. Yeah. All of this. Okay. Now next one. Sorry. So next one is okay. Next one is, which of the following describe best concept of nirvana in the Buddhism? So nirvana was the extinction of the flame of desires. So Buddhism considered desire at the root of all pain. The state of nirvana is Buddhism is considered as the state which is free from desire, pain and pleasure. The literature meaning of word nirvana is blowout, and it can be seen as the state of extinction of being the flame of desires. To extinction of flame of desire, like or flame of desire will be extinguished, that is the main philosophy. The complete annihilation of self, no. The state of bliss and rest, no. The mental stage beyond all comprehension, no. It's the extinction of flame of desires. Okay. And the genius karma thought of kind of pollution which paint the soul, which varies colors. Inequality, pain and suffering are cited evidence for the existence of karma. The Jaina doctrine believe that it is possible for us to modify karma as well as to obtain release from it by practicing penance. A soul with karma are considered as non-liberated, and the objective must be to liberation the soul and achieve purity. So this is the goal. Which one of the following pair does not form part of sixth system of Indian philosophy? So it is Lokayata and Kapalika. So Samyaka agnostic philosophy that believe in the existence of conscious Purusha and unconscious Prakrit. Nyaya school of logic and foundation of philosophical reasoning and debate. And Vaisheshikas deal with the physical and chemical element, and physical and chemical element was body, universe. Yoga prescribed the asana, pranayama and pratyahara, dhamma and for attention salvation. Mimamsa provides the interpreting understanding of Veda. Vedanta taught practice of Sega, Veda and Upanishada. Yoga is prescribed for the pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, attainment, salvation, and Vaisheshika is deal with the physical, chemical element, and physical and chemical element is Vaisheshika, and Nyaya is the logic and foundation of philosophy, and Samyaka agnostic philosophy that believe in the existence of conscious Purusha and unconscious Prakriti, and Vedanta taught the practice of Saga and Vedanta. The national motto of India, Satyameva Jayate, is Mundaka Upanishad. So the national motto of India, Satyameva Jayate, is given the Mundaka Upanishad. Okay. Now next one is the next Satyameva Jayate, which is mean truth, alone truth, is the mantra from Mundaka Upanishad, which is inscribed the emblem of India upon Indian of India. It was adopted national motto of India. It inscribed Devanagari script at the base of national emblem. Which one of the following kingdom were associated with the life of Buddha? So it was the third and fourth. Third is like Kosala and Magadha. So Avanti was not there, Gandhara was not there, but life of Buddha was related to Kosala and Magadha. Gandhara and Gandhara, so obviously it's not there, and Avanti was also south also not there, and west also not there. Kosala and Magadha, very easy to remember. Which of the following kingdom were associated with the life of Buddha? See, Avanti was not there, Gandhara not there, so Kosala and Magadha was there. Okay. So Buddha gained enlightenment in Gaya, called the Bodh Gaya, which came under the Magadha, now present empire of Mahajanpada. Buddha was a greater part of his monastic life, and Sravasti, and capital of Kosala. The king of Kosala, Prasenjit, was a devout disciple of Buddha. So it was Sravasti and Kosala. During the time of Buddha, the king of Avanti was Chandapajota. He sent his son Mahakachana along with 7 other to invite Buddha to Avanti. But due to Buddha did not visit the Avanti, Buddha gave the sermon and attained the. There are no direct link between the Gandhara and Buddha. With reference to Indian history, which of the following is essential element of the feudal system? A very strong centralized political authority, Emergence of administration structure based on control position of the land. And the creation of the lord vassal relationship between the feudal lords. Third one is right. See, first one is statement is false. Feudalism, there is no weak central authority. Feudalism is synonymous with political decentralization. It is centralized kingdom. The monarch effects a strong direct control over the entire state. In the decentralized kingdom, the monarch's power is limited by the strength of local lords who have significant autonomy. So this is the feudal. The term feudal can be therefore be applied to any state that exists at a collection of significantly autonomous region. So a person become a vassal by pledging political allegiance and providing military, political, financial service to the lord. A lord possesses complete sovereignty over land, acted in the service of another sovereign, usually a king. If a lord acted in the service of a king, and a lord was considered the vassal of the king. As part of feudal agreement, the lord promised to protect the vassal and provided the vassal with a plot of land, and this land could be passed on to the vassal heirs. Like vassalas are the feudal lords, so giving the vassala tenure over the land. So this is kind of the civil service we are seeing today. So vassala are kind of civil service, and feudal system is significantly similar to that, but not exactly. In the because there is a legal heirs and we don't have legal heirs, we have the merit system. In the context of history of India, consider the following pair. So it is the Aripati land revenue from which was set apart for the maintenance of village tank. Gatika college generally attached to the temples, and Tanur is village donated to the single Brahman or the group of Brahman. So Tanur is not a single Brahman. Gatika is college generally attached to the temple, and Aripati land revenue from which was set part of the maintenance of the village tank. So D will be the answer. During the Chola, Tanur developed out of the major Brahmandeya and temple settlement and can include several helmets. Adipati is a special category of land and tank land. So the revenue from this land was a part of the maintenance of village tanks. So Adipati. Tanur is the Chola regime. Tanur developed out major Brahmadeva temple settlements. Okay. And Gatika is the Pallav king, ancient Tamil, who ruled their capital for Kanchipuram from the 4th to 9th century. And Gatika were the most important educational institution during the ancient time, and most important Gatika was the Pallava. And next was the Kachipuram inscription revealed that many of these kings looked after the institution great care. It was the non-important educational center like epigraph, Kadamba king, records of ancestors, scholar named Mayura Sarmana, along with the teacher of Veer Sarmana to this institution from Goa, Gatika were the separated from the temple. So who among the following had first deciphered the edict of Emperor Ashoka? It was Jain Princeps. Jain Princeps, who held a high rank in the service of the British East India Company in the Bengal, was the first deciphered Brahmi script in edict of Ashoka. Princeps found that a most earliest inscription and coin there is mentioned the king referred to the Priyadasa, meaning pleasant to behold. On some inscription, the king named the Ashoka. The deciphering the Brahmi script Princeps provided a new direction to investigation early Indian political history. With reference to the economic history of medieval India, the term Aragata was referred to. Aragata is the water wheel used in the irrigation of the land. So the in Sanskrit word Aragata has been used to the ancient text describe the Persian wheel. The Aragata comes from the combination of the word Ara meaning the spoke, Gata means the pot. There is the evidence argue that system lifting water from the open wells was probably invented in India. With also Iran, Persia and perhaps discoveries there. Which of the following books of ancient India have the love story? Is Malvika Agnimitram, where Sunga dynasty and love story was there. So Malvika Agnimitram is the Sanskrit play by Kalidasa, which is also known the play. First play he played the tells story of the love Agnimitra Shunga, and for the beautiful handmaided chief queen called the love with the picture exile servant named the Malvika. When the queen husband patient for this girl, she become infatuated and Malvika emprise as the fate would have it in the end of discovered to the royal birth. Okay, so next one is the in the context of the history of India, consider the following pair. So this was we discussed. Sorry. Yeah, next one. With reference to the difference between the culture of Rigvedic Aryan and Indus Valley people, which of the following statement is correct? So, see, Rigvedic Aryan used the coat of mail and helmet in warfare, whereas the people in Indus Valley civilization did not leave evidence of using them. Yes, actually, we were very peaceful, you know. Rigvedic Aryan knew the gold, silver, copper, whereas Indus Valley people know only copper and iron. No, not this. Okay, because they were knowing the gold also. The Vedic Aryan has domesticated horses where there was no evidence of Indus Valley people having the aware of animal. No, it's wrong. Many places there we found the animals. So Indus people were the basically peace loving. Their arms, dagger, arrowheads, and spear were primitive in nature. No evidence of armor, helmet, body armor, shield available. The Aryans, on the contrary, were warlike people and were conversant with the all kind of traditional arms and armor, and he devised the full fledged of science of war. The horse, which played a decisive role in the Aryan system of warfare, was also known in the Indus people. A few bones of horses, terracotta figure, horse-like animal, and the Indus Valley people knew the use of copper, bronze, silver, gold. On the other hand, the scholar claimed that the horse was widely domesticated and used in India and the area covered by Indus Saraswati civilization, but this evidence remained unsubstantial at Surkotda and Lothal horse was evidence was there. Which of the following very important in the Kakatiya kingdom? So that is Motupalli. So Kakatiya dynasty of the South India dynasty whose capital was Uruggalu, now the Warangal. It was eventually conquered the Delhi Sultanate. So Motupalli was the famous seaport during the Kakatiya period of Marco Polo. A Motupalli navigator visited the place, brought about the prosperity and power of the Arthadesa. Motupalli inscription issued the King Ganapati. 19th century specified the rates, assessed the variety of item including the sandal, seaweed and camphor rose water, and this give the list of good idea about the luxury goods. With reference to the religious history of India, consider the following. Sotrantrika and Samitiya were the sect of Jainism. Sarvativadina held that the constitution of phenomena were not wholly momentary, existed forever in the latent form. So Tantrika and Samitiya were the sect of Jainism. No, it's not sect of Jainism, it's Buddhism. And Sarvativadin, it's constitute the phenomena were not wholly momentary but existed for even in the latent form. So Tantrika were the early Buddhist school generally believed to be the descendant from the Sthavirvadikaya by immediate parent school. The Sarvastivadin, their name means those who rely upon the sutras and indicated the rejection of Abhidham text other. So Sarvativadi doctrine that all real are known. The Vaibhashika, a school of early Buddhists. Sarvativadi also Buddhist. Fundamental concept of Buddhism metaphysics is the existence of dharma, cosmic events of combined momentary under the influence of person past deeds and person flux, which is considered his personality, and difference arose among the various early Buddhist school concerning ontological reality. This dharma, while like Buddhists, the Sarvastiva considered everything empirical to the implement, maintain that dharma factor and extremely realities. So this was whole ancient India which we discussed today. Hope you enjoyed my lecture and hope you got how to solve the questions.